Have to look at the things you don't want to look at. Well, why do meaningful things? Well, first of all, what is meaning? But then why do meaningful things? And the answer is, well, because life is suffering and malevolence. It's ineradicable at its core. It's like, that will take you out. Make no mistake about it. You need you need to be armed with virtue in order for that not to turn into hell.
So as you can see in this short clip, Jordan Peterson encourages people to live with meaning and do things that are meaningful because life is suffering and life is difficult. And the only thing that's really going to get us through that is to live a meaningful existence. Now, he obviously questions meaning as well. And, well, you have to do that when you deny God. From our society today, if you take a existential perspective on life, then the meaning of life is a big question, and there's no way to really ground ultimate meaning of life. There's no ultimate meaning of life. You have to make meaning up for yourselves. Now, here's what's really interesting. The atheists, the existentialists, they would be okay with the idea of making meaning up for yourself. And they would try to live meaningful lives. And the reason they would do this is because they appreciate the utility. They appreciate the usefulness of living meaningful lives. And one of those utilities is, as outlined by Jordan Peterson, is that it helps you deal with suffering. It helps you deal with the challenging aspects of life. So if the atheists and the existentialists can appreciate the value of utility to the degree that it's utility that leads them to even make up meaning for themselves, although they have from their perspective, no ultimate meaning, they have no real reason, unless, well, suffering being one of them, but they don't have any real way to ground ultimate meaning. So in a worldview that there is no meaning, they are willing to make up meaning for themselves because it's useful, right? So they appreciate utility. Now, my question is, why not apply the same principle of utility on a more foundational level? Why not at the very least appreciate the utility of the belief in God? Because when you believe in God and you acknowledge God, at least the Islamic conception of God, what that does immediately is that it injects ultimate meaning into your life. You know why you exist. You know why you were created. You know what your ultimate purpose is. You know why you're here, where you're going. It puts all of these things into perspective. It also grounds objective moral values and duties. So you can see the utility of believing in God. You don't have to make up meaning anymore. It comes with the acknowledgement that you have a creator that created you with a specific purpose. So why not apply that principle of utility there? Why not at least start with, okay, I can acknowledge that the belief in God, the belief in a creator, a personal being, especially the one you Muslims believe in, that has great utility for our lives. And if you start there, then you can ask, well, okay, now this idea that I can appreciate, well, okay, I can ask the question, is it true or not? And unlike, making meaning up in the absence of God, which is not true meaning, it's meaning you just concocted up in your own mind. When it comes to the question of God, from an Islamic perspective, we have very powerful, logical, rational arguments which established and prove that God exists. Take the argument for dependency, the Quranic argument for God's existence. There's many arguments. There's many arguments that establish rationally and logically that there is a creator, that it makes sense to believe in God. These are logical proofs that you can inquire about. But again, coming back to the point, as I summarize, that utility is key here. The atheist and the existentialist appreciates the value of utility, hence they make up meaning. They just make it up just to get through life. Then why not apply that principle of utility on a more of a foundational level and begin with God? Start with believe in God. Live as if God exists, as Jordan Peterson says himself. At least live as if God exists. Acknowledge God, even though you may not believe in the existence of God, or you may not have proof for the existence of God right now, but at least appreciate the utility of the belief in God. And then when you ask the question, does God exist? There are ample proofs and evidences for this. A brilliant book for you guys to read is The Divine Reality by Hamza. He's written a phenomenal book which covers many, strong logical arguments for the existence of God. So something for us to think about. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, take care.